graduation of energy when we play. This is what musical form is. Just like we were graduating the energy within the block of sentence and phrasing, but now it's from a meta perspective, higher above, graduating energy within the whole piece. Now, why is it beneficial? How does it help us?
Well, our playing becomes like a real speech. The music becomes like we speaking a narrative, and this brings more flow, more natural flow of playing. So distributes the energy, its gradations, and we have a perspective where we want to go. Yes, like you said, it's like in a phrasing, but from bigger perspective.
So because now we graduate the energy within the whole piece, we're actually going to create much brighter climax parts, and instead of feeling of, we need to give everything in the beginning of the story, we're actually gonna know and hold on our horses and just give it space. And because of this contrast when we give space and where we actually give everything, all the energy, that creates the flow in music. So what was like in Russia we were told regarding this? Все стоит на месте.
Статично.
So everything is static. Yeah, okay. Well, that's the medicine for it, right?
I was told for that, yes.
Yeah, everyone. God, everyone. And also...
По складам. No, it's
По складам.
about
So but по складам, basically by syllable, is mostly regarding to phrasing, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah. Добавь немножко движения. Все как-то стоит на месте. Bring a little bit of motion, everything is static.
What is it? What is it, motion? What is it?
Yeah, what is it? And then you start moving more with your body. It all ends up with compulsive tension because we don't know how exactly.
I remember my teacher in the music school when I was young, when I was 10 or 11. She said, по складам, and then I will show you, and she started playing. What I do that is different. You're constantly moving. You're moving your body. That's different.
This is the first benefit. We get the flow in music. We get a sense of motion in music, in playing. And because we know that everything is connected, how it's going to affect our technique and physics?
As always, changing the...
I was about to say in more motion of your body.
No. Changing the quality of intonation, I would say.
Well, you see, remember, with phrasing, we call it the art of breathing, right? So if musical form is in some way just phrasing, but with a bigger perspective, it also will affect our inner breathing. We graduate energy. And remember what
So we accumulate that energy, and in certain point we live it. We exhaling.
Exactly. So we have the circulation of the energy. Those parts when we have the beginning of the story or something, because we don't need to give so much, so our natural also state of physics is also quite chill, very relaxed. And obviously towards the rising part, towards the climax part, this is where we give everything. But then again, starts another part, we're going again to the beginning of another part of the story, and it's like ebb and flow, right, with water.
Would it be correct if I say that on this stage we can have one single inhale and one single exhale throughout the piece?
In a way, yes. But you will also realize later that this template of musical form, there are very few pieces, unless they're very short, maybe like a prelude by Chopin. You will need to have a few templates. You will need to have a few climax parts, a few beginnings of different chapters of the same book. So, unless you play a very short piece, we're talking about a few inhales and exhales.
Then I raises a question. What if we play a very long piece, like maybe Sonata Lista? And could we have even more meta perspective form, like this form, this is beginning, this would be development?
Yes, you can, but I've never gone there. I knew you could, but I guess for that, to feel that, to actually comprehend that, you need to play sonata for so many years that everything that you do becomes such a small thing in your mind that you will have enough space to actually embrace even that perspective. Yeah, that would take some more practice. But yes, of course. And then in the whole program, when you make the whole recital program again, each piece could represent a different part of form somehow.
So in this case, we definitely can have the one single inhale and exhale for the whole recital.
Yeah, you can, but I'm not sure that I have achieved that yet or anyone else. But theoretically, yes. It's possible. It's not scientifically proven yet.
But there is a possibility.
There is, yeah. There is always something bigger than us. Infinity is infinite.
At least.
All right. So without much complication, so musical form, the graduation of energy that musical form provides us helps us in two ways. First is to create the flow in music, the motion in music, this liveness in music. And second, it will let muscles in our body breathe, because graduation energy means mental breathing, emotional breathing, so it will create a physical breathing as well, and as a result, we will escape compulsive tension in the body, or any unnecessary tension in that matter. Again, just like with phrasing, we're going to start with the structure. So first, today we're going to talk about how to find and identify blocks in the piece, and then which templates we could use in those pieces. How structure of phrasing can help us with navigating musical form.
Each element of musical form is basically a sentence. Sometimes less, but it's rare. It's a rare case. Sometimes it could be even a single phrase and then mark.
So the phrasing already gives us some sort of limits, you know. So we know that the parts of form, which are, can you name them?
Introduction, beginning, development, intensification, rising, and climax, and conclusion.
So each of those forms will fit into one sentence. So each part of the form will match one sentence. And yes, I mentioned in the book that sometimes you just see it doesn't work to connect one part of form to one sentence, so you just choose to maybe just connect it to one phrase, or go other way around and connect it to two sentences. So beginning would stretch to two sentences. But I would say this is such a rare case. We're talking about out of 100 pieces, maybe you will find one when you need to do that. So like none of the pieces in my repertoire have this, but I've seen it in other pieces that I was just analyzing. Okay, So let's talk about how to actually mark musical form in the score. So when we need to find that block, the chunk in the music that we will actually work with, remember that it could be less than 7 sentences, but really not more than 7 sentences. Usually it's about 3 to 5, 3, 4 or 5. That's like the most common. So that's already will give you a good idea. Of course, you also want to match it with, like with phrasing, when the musical, the beginning of the new musical material, right? So you don't want to drag the chunk over to some middle part of the piece. But yes, no more than 7 sentences. Okay. So that's step 1. Second step. Okay, we discussed that probably each part of form is going to last for 1 sentence. So hence we need to look. Alright, so how many sentences are going to be in this block? You have 2 ways of deciding how you're gonna interpret this music. Which sentence you will assign to be the beginning, which sentence the climax, etc. It's just a very clear, okay, if you have 6 sentences, it could be this or that. So you just kind of look at that and you copy and paste it into music and think, well, does it make sense? Okay, does that make sense? No. So you choose, right? So when you have 2 sentences, 3 or 4, so it's very easy. There are just some things that will help you additionally. For example, in the beginning of each block, 90% of the time, unless it's 2 sentences in one block, is going to be beginning. Unless it's the very beginning of the piece and it might start with introduction. But, so, okay, you already, again, there are some, safe rocks again, so you can hold on to that. Then you can find the climax part of the piece. And yes, of course, it's not necessarily going to be a rising, going to a high register, being louder, with more expressive harmonies and more expressive articulations. Again, it's your intuition here, what you think could be climax part. But it's usually towards the end, if not the last sentence. Because it's the last sentence, as you can see, is either climax or conclusion. So it could be last sentence or second to last. Good. So you paste the climax part there. Now the next thing is that it's always, no exceptions. Before climax part, there will be always rising part. So as soon as you find climax, close your eyes, and the sentence before that, put that R. So this is your rising part. And the rest is just to look what is in between and fill up the gaps. So when you see there, let's say, between beginning and rising, you have, let's say, 2 sentences, then you think, it could be development and intensification. Let's go with that. If you see there is 1 sentence after climax left, well, it's probably conclusion. If you see there is 1 sentence between beginning and rising, then it could be just development. So that's another way to work with it. But again, if you can't really figure out where is the climax part, go to the templates and just choose whatever matches better to your taste. Did you try to do it on your own at home?
Yeah, I just like to show. I have it's even before we met. I did this. I have, for example, I have this E flat etude of Rachmaninoff. You see B on the beginning.
Yes.
Then it's a one sentence. Then then goes D development,
Mm-hmm.
then goes rising, and after rising, oh my god, I have something else. Well, I was alone without you, so yes.
That's why you have a mastery course right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I tried to do this on my own in many pieces. And for me, intensification was the very obscured meaning of it. But now, when I tried before our lesson, I watched the video.
And there
And
are
I tried-
phrases, no?
Yeah, I tried speaking,
Yes.
and this is very cool and interesting.
We'll talk about this next time, how to speak,
Mhm.
sing and play musical form. So when you go to musical form analysis, the additional material that I provide, there are only sentences marked. And so your homework will be to find a big chunk, no more than 7 sentences, count how many sentences inside, use the template given in the book, choose your way. But also notice that, yes, there is beginning and there is climax, and there is always rising before climax, and then the rest I'm just going to fill out the gaps with appropriate parts of form. Just try to use that method as well without even templates.